Hello and welcome back to AP World History and Modern. So today is our third day with the Mongols, and we're going to do less content today and kind of more prep for an activity that we're going to do, and then I'm going to give you about a week or so to work on it as we move on with our content. So we will then kind of come back and discuss the legacy of the Mongols. All right. So about a week from now, on the 28th of September. Right, we're gonna discuss in class, the Mongol legacy. How should the Mongol legacy be viewed? Right, so we're gonna have a discussion, and as far as how that discussion is going to work, it's going to go a couple of different ways. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of draw out and explain to you, how this would work. So we're gonna kind of circle the desk around. We're going to circle the desk around, and then so we're going to sit around that circle. All right. And coming in that the topic for the discussion is, we're discussing whether, we're discussing the legacy of the Mongols. And it's a pretty open topic. I'm going to give you some more specific ways of looking at it in just a minute. All right. So what we're going to do is someone's going to volunteer to begin, right? So, so Mongols, a Mongol legacy. Okay, what is the Mongol legacy? And so someone's going to begin, right? So they're going to initially kind of contextualize, right, whatever their claim is going to be. Right? So they're going to open by contextualizing and, taking 2 or 3 sentences to kind of open up and introduce, and situate the argument that they're about to make in a time and place. All right, so situate the argument in time and place. All right, so what's going on in the wider world at this time. All right, and then they're going to make their claim. All right, so talking skill application for our historical reasoning skills, cause or fact, similarity, difference, continuity over time, change over time, right? So skill application plus a category of analysis. Now I'm going to give you some category of analysis starters as well, right, in a few minutes. All right, so whoever goes first, right, they're going to have a claim in mind. They're going to contextualize that claim. They're going to then state that claim, and then they're going to provide specific evidence, right, to support, right, to support the claim. All right. So then, once that has happened, right, this person is gone. Then what happens next? All right. So once the person who begins the discussion contextualizes, makes their claim, right, then, right, once that's been established, other participating students in the class are going to connect ideas from the reading, the articles, posted information, documentaries, lectures, what have you, right? So, and what the other students in class will do is they will corroborate the established claim. That is one of the things you can do. You can contradict the established claim with additional evidence. You can critique evidence through sourcing interpretation, and you can challenge evidence with different evidence. Okay, so let's kind of just show you what this means. So maybe this person's going to start, and then maybe this person here becomes our second person to speak, and they're going to corroborate what was initially said with a different piece of evidence. And then this person here will then corroborate with a, same claim with a different piece of evidence than what had been stated by the first 2 people. And maybe this person's going to jump in and they will then contradict what was, they will contradict maybe one of these pieces of evidence, or maybe they'll contradict the claim itself with evidence, right? And maybe once that's done, maybe this person and this person will both corroborate the claim, or they'll corroborate the contradiction to the claim. All right. So, And then maybe this person here will then jump in and then, maybe they'll try to argue against the source that was provided by one of these three people. So maybe they'll do a little bit of sourcing, all right, in there. And this will go on for, anywhere between, 8 to 12, maybe a few more sometimes, people, right? And, once we kind of get through, a number of these pieces, the amount of available evidence used to either support or contradict any specific claim, it is limited, just based on reality of how much time you have for prep, the amount of material you're using for prep. And so it'll naturally come to an end, right? At which time we'll then establish a new, right? I'll ask someone for a new claim, in which maybe it's going to be this person, and then they will contextualize, right? They'll establish a new claim, right? And then give me that specific evidence that supports. And then from there, we kind of move on. And what we're going to see at times is like this person here seems to be dominating. I might ask them to take a timeout for, maybe a 5-minute timeout. And if that happens to you, that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with being asked to timeout. That means you're speaking with evidence, speaking relevantly, and I'm just trying to open it up so that maybe these people who have not had an opportunity to speak can get an opportunity to. So maybe after a timeout, that person can chime in, right, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And then, so the discussion simply goes on, and maybe I'll time this person out, and yeah. So, and the discussion goes on for the rest of class. Maybe we'll do a third claim or even a fourth claim. We don't usually make it beyond four different claims. So yes. So what you want to make sure you really do is that you walk in prepared for kind of multiple angles here, because you don't want to be prepared for 3 or 4 claims, and then none of the ones that you were prepared for ever come up in discussion. So try to have a little bit of breadth, with your preparation as well. All right. So what are you going to do? It's come in, pay attention, ask, question, critique, right? Be an involved person. Listen carefully to what is being said. And kind of think about what the discussion is before you interject. Model respect throughout the discussion. Do not insult, cut off, try to dominate to prevent other people from being able to speak. Withdraw. Make untimely comments. Like if we're in the middle of 5 or 6 different facts into a discussion about religious toleration within the Khanates, don't jump in and talk about the Yam system, and that's unless you can relevantly connect it, so just stay focused and don't make untimely comments just because I've got a random fact that I want to say, and don't do that. Okay. This is not a debate, right? We're not looking for a winner or a loser, right? I don't need the Mongols to be good or bad, right? We're simply looking to discuss the legacy of the Mongols, right? So when looking at a topic, you're probably going to walk in with an established position with evidence to support that established position. Through discussion, your support of that position might be strengthened. You may have a lot of people who corroborate your position. Or you may have a lot of people that contradict your position, and that contradiction, might sway you. It may weaken your support, right? Than what you started with. It may even change your mind or your opinion on certain topics. So, I'm not there to actively participate in this dialogue. I'm there to simply kind of facilitate. All right, so. I will interject when I need to. I will, kind of clarify and redirect, refocus what we're talking about. If irrelevant comments are being made, I redirect. Okay, and then I will determine when we kind of make that transition. from one claim to the next. All right, so that's the basics of what we're doing. All right, as far as the topics and how we're going to address that, the story of the Mongols is a very complex one. All right, so on the one hand, a lot of bad. Right? On the one hand, there's definitely a lot of room for criticism. On the other hand, there's some implications of their actions that can be viewed through a kind of more forgiving lens. So, right, this is what we're discussing: their legacy. All right. Some of the ways you can do it. You can focus on the expansion of the empire and how it influenced trade and communication. Right, and then we have a couple of specific ways in which that might be done. You can look at their process of state building, right, and how they set up their states, how their states were run, and or why their states declined. All right, so right, that would be one. That'd be another angle. Right, look at the significance of the Mongols on larger patterns, right, in history. All right, and I give you kind of some specific ways in which you might want to do that. And then what can they teach us? Right, what might we want to emulate? What might we want to avoid when it comes to the Mongols? Right, what we might avoid. Are there certain types of warfare that are just inherently wrong and can never be supported? Right? What can we learn about gender roles in this period from Mongol history? Right? And so these are the basic topics. I gave you some starter claims because this is our first one of these discussions this year, and maybe you want a little bit of a help out. So these are some starter claims. I literally bootlegged almost all of these are from the crash course, right, with John Green on the Mongols. Right, so almost all of these are from there. So here are some positive starters. Here are some, possibly negative starters, and you are definitely not limited to just these. All right. I also provided for you a whole host of evidence that you're welcome to pull from. You really shouldn't need to do any actual research, true research. I've got a whole series of primary source documents, a timeline, more documents that are all relevant and kind of neatly organized. There's a ton more inside this Google Slides on my webpage. There's plenty of relevant information on there that would help you. And then of course the John Green video is there as well. So that's to get you started. Okay. So in class we went over this today. And then and then we kind of just took the Chromebooks out and I gave the class probably 10 to 20 minutes, depending on this questions that may have popped up, to just kind of start this research and to start kind of organizing your claims. All right, so let me just kind of give you some kind of a little tip on this here. All right, so in your preparation for this, right, try your best to come up with some claims that fall under those categories that we talked about. Right, so claims, and then evidence, and of course, make sure you kind of keep track of your source information. Right, so try to come up with some pieces of evidence. Try to anticipate, contradictions, that could be made. And you are more than, right, so let's just kind of put contradictory evidence. You are more than welcome to be the person who starts a claim with evidence and then go ahead and contradict your own claim. Right? You will earn points either way. Right? So once again, this is not a debate. You don't have to be on a side and have that side come out as the one with the most supporting evidence. Right? You earn points through speaking with evidence. So you can support both sides of the fence on this, right? Where you see relevant. So try to do this for, for as many as you, I guess you can. You get a week to kind of prep for this. So, right, I would encourage you to kind of have as many angles as you possibly can covered. Okay. All right, that is and that's what we did today, right? And I just gave kids some time to work on this, kind of pulled it back together, and just kind of had in dealt with any questions that may have popped up, and most of them were kind of I don't think really worth going over, since I think I covered most of them in here. So, all right, so that's all for today. So please let me know if you do have any questions. And don't forget, you also have your game map coming up. All right, that is all for today. Sapriati.